What's up, party people? Carolina Mike here, your host for SharePoint in 60 seconds. I don't know why we don't have a different icon here for the indents, but nevertheless, where you can get the information you need in the first 60 seconds and then stick around for a step-by-step run through. So when I go open in SharePoint, let's try this. Oh, why is it not letting me bring it over? That's odd. However, today we're doing a special edition. Quick, get you up and running tutorial on Microsoft Teams. You don't want to miss this. Stick around.
I'm a SharePoint expert, play with data extra. Careful with my hands, cause I gotta use them for work. Yeah, I'm a big old nerd. I like maple syrup on my pancakes. I don't care what you heard.
Okay, so check it out. Let's say you're starting a new position. You haven't used Teams before. You haven't used SharePoint before. You're like, oh, snap-a-roni. Well, take a look, and this is just a quick tour. It's going to be all over the place. Nevertheless, you're going to get some exposure to some of the key features within Microsoft Teams. Let's get to it. All right, first things first. Maybe your first introduction to Microsoft Teams is going to be something like a chat situation. So we'll just handle like regular chat. So here I'm chatting with SharePoint Nerd. They happen to be a guest in this environment. And, so going back and forth with the comments. This is a one-to-one chat. If you wanted to add people, you could add people over here. If you wanted to have a group chat, and that would be still a private with just these two folks and anyone else that we add. If you want to fire up a quick video one-to-one, you just hit video call and boom, you're in video, or voice call. So this is just the chat functionality. If you needed to share a file, you could drag and drop a file in here and your shared files would be shown in here. Okay, one of the things I will dig into a little bit here is the chat functionality and this window here, the chat window. Before we do that, I want to take a quick moment to thank everyone for watching, liking, and subscribing. And if you haven't had a chance to like and subscribe, here's your chance now. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell notification so you can know as soon as new content is available. Alright, let's get back to the tutorial. Now, usually you're just kind of typing along and maybe you're just hitting enter, right? Well, that's cool. That works. However, maybe you need to do something a little bit more elaborate. You want to stylize things. You want bullet points and all that jazz. All you gotta do is click here and it's gonna open up all of it. And if you've been on the internet for any amount of time, you've seen something like this a bazillion times. This type of interface is just super useful. So if I want to go bold, italics, underline, just go crazy. You want to clear formatting, go ahead and clear tables. This is massive. I mean, you can literally just go nuts. Except look at that. I don't know why we don't have a different icon here for the indents, but nevertheless, there you go. And when you're all done, then you click send and you're good to go. So there you go for that. And I will leave the smiley faces and GIFs for you to explore on your own. Now, one other thing, activity. When people @mention you or @mention something that you belong to, you will see the activity thing light up. And it's pretty straightforward. There's your feed. You can make adjustments. Again, just letting you know this is activity when you got mentioned or something that you belong to was mentioned. Now, let's step over to getting added to a team. When you get added to a team, it takes all that chat functionality and adds a whole bunch of other stuff to it because you get access to a whole bunch of more resources. So we're going to click on Teams. When you get added to a new team, it shows up here right away. So now I'm a part of this customer demo private team, and teams are broken down into channels. Generally speaking, Teams is meant for team collaboration, usually a small group of people working with each other to complete a thing, a widget, whatever it is. And as part of that, whether it's a short-term or long-term thing or just general communication between folks in that team, you are going to have a general channel out the gate. You can't remove this. It is by default, and it's meant just as a general space for folks to hear about just stuff that applies to all parts of the team. Now, after you have the team, your folks who are members of the team can create new channels. So you hit the triple dots, you can add a channel. And that just adds another little bucket within this team where you can collaborate on files. So we have the general team, or general channel rather, and now we have a Just Watch team. Channel, goodness gracious.
Bruh.
General channel, Just Watch channel. Now, to give you a little bit more in-depth knowledge on how these particular resources are connected to SharePoint, because yes, they are connected to SharePoint, let's show you. So here in the general channel, if I go over here to the triple dots, I have open in SharePoint. So when I go open in SharePoint, let's try this. Oh, why is it not letting me bring it over? That's odd.
Bruh.
So with open in SharePoint, I'm able to take a look at the document library where these particular files are going to live for that general channel. Now, if I want to back up to the top of that document library, I can click this breadcrumb. It puts me at the top. Here I can see all of the files that are in channels, and then here I can see files that are not in channels. These delete me files are here because I had a channel associated with these files, but then I deleted that channel in Teams, but the files still remain. And you can see I have a Just Watch channel and I have a Just Watch folder in this document library. So that's the connection between SharePoint, or a connection between SharePoint and Teams. Okay, so let's say we need to keep track of a newsletter and we want to have a channel dedicated to the newsletter. So we'll go here and we'll add a channel. We'll call it newsletter. All right, we're going to make it a standard so all people can have access and automatically show it in people's channel list. So let's do that and we'll say add. So now we're adding the channel, and if you remember, this is connected to the SharePoint document library, so now we have a new folder in that library called newsletter. So let's go here and let's break down what you get inside a channel. By default, you're going to have posts, files, and in the general channel you also have a wiki by default. And I'm going to say just go ahead and add a wiki because you're going to want it. Just add a wiki. It's a great place to keep notes. I'm just gonna call it meeting notes. So now you got a wiki for your meeting notes, and you can have a wiki for other stuff as well. I mean, if you wanted a wiki for let's say I want a wiki for issue 1. So there we go. Now let's go ahead and actually dig into that wiki a little bit since we're here. It's basically just a canvas for jotting down text. You can paste in images. It lets you know when it was last updated. One thing I've noticed is it doesn't necessarily let you know when you created the wiki or when you created a page, not that I'm aware of. So you're going to want to put that info kind of in the title of the page. So we're going to say today is August 7th, 2022. Notes. We have a section. We'll say the intro for the issue, and then we can add additional pages. So now you have another page. We'll call it, August 8th for whatever reason. This really does have, all these different levels that you can use. So we have the page level, right? And then we have sections within the page. So we can call this section 1, and then we can put content here. We can type, we can do all the same stuff we can do like in a chat message, bold, italics, tables, all that jazz. All that's available. You can drag and drop images, and we can add new sections. So here's section 2. So we have this August 8th page with several sections. So you have the wiki. Within the wiki you have pages, and within these pages you have sections. Alrighty, so that handles the wiki. Let's go over to posts. These posts are relevant to this particular channel. So if I start a conversation here and I say, yo, how goes it? That post is in this channel, okay? Now everybody who's a member of the team can know about it and visit this channel and see this post, but it doesn't show up in the post for this channel. That is by design, so keep that in mind. Your chats within a team channel are only visible within that channel. Alrighty, so we handled posts. Let's talk about files. So files, again, we're in a team channel, so these files pertain to this particular channel and live in a folder in SharePoint with this same name. So we can go ahead and just fire off a new file. We'll say newsletter file. It launches us right into the web version or the online version of Word. Now, if you really need to launch the full-blown version of Word, you can go over here, and there is a way right here, right in front of my face. Open in desktop app if you really need those features. So when we're done making our edits, we can close, and there we are. There's our file. And as you can see, this navigation is very similar to what you would get in SharePoint. Excellent, excellent. Next, we've got our wiki, which we talked about. We did a meeting notes wiki. We have issue 1 wiki, and we can add more tabs. So we click on add a tab. You can add a tab for all these things that you see here. There's a lot of stuff to cover here. If you're new to Teams, just take it that there are other integrations that you may be able to add or that may be added on your behalf. So that's your general run through of Microsoft Teams, the chat functionality, super high level. Also the breakdown of what you get inside an actual Microsoft Teams team. Yes, or we could just say Microsoft Teams squared. You get different channels that help compartmentalize things for you. We have a general channel that's just for stuff generally related to everyone within the particular Microsoft team, and we have specific channels for specific things. Within those channels, you have your posts, you have files, you have additional tabs, most likely a wiki. Maybe you might see a OneNote up here or some additional document libraries up here as tabs. So there you go. I hope this helps with a general rundown. If you get stuck on something, come back, leave a message in the comments, let us know what you think. We appreciate you. Remember, do the best you can with what you got. SharePoint and Microsoft Teams rock, and so do you. We'll see you next time.
I'm a SharePoint expert, play with data extra. Careful with my hands, cause I gotta use them for work. Yeah, I'm a big old nerd. I like maple syrup on my pancakes.